Yes guys, so we've got another race day vlog coming up. I've got a new fancy camera which I'm gonna get on the iPhone here. I'll show you this on the B-roll. So the DJI Osmo Pocket gimbal thing. It's pretty cool. Don't know how to use it, so we're gonna get used to this. We're gonna really try and level up the karting content on the YouTube, so hopefully you guys like it. Obviously feel free to drop me comments, like, subscribe, all that good shit. So today is EKS Championship, Elite Karting Championship, their round at Daytona Milton Keynes, so the home circuit. We're in the D-Maxes today. We had a practice, well not practice, so the Thursday Night League, which is Daytona's own championship, was running on the Thursday. And obviously I naturally compete in that one, but in the Sodi class. So obviously today being the D-Maxes for EKS, I chose to do the Daytona D-Max Thursday Night League, which I've not done in probably a couple of years now. Went very, very well. We had a big crash, which I'm going to put on the screen now whilst I'm talking. So you can see on this image, quite a big shunt, and we actually went underneath the car as well in front, and very luckily just moved my hand at the right time before the steering column collapsed. So yeah, it was a big one, but that event went very, very well. The lap times were very quick. It was faster than I was expecting considering the conditions. It was about 30 degrees, and yeah, we ended up winning the Thursday Night League, so it's just looking good. So we'll just see how we go on today. Obviously very high level of drivers here today at EKS, it always is. We are leading the championship at the moment within the Southern round, and we are closing the gap in the National Championship. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to have another good result this weekend. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. Right then, so that is briefing done, and the EKS official practice is starting now. We chose not to do this today simply because obviously I was here on Thursday, so plenty of practice then, plenty of track time. So we will be straight out in qualifying in probably about, I'd say, an hour's time. So we've got a 10-minute session, so 9 minutes of that is practice, and then the final lap of that qualifying session will be a one lap qualifying essentially, right? So kind of like a Super Bowl, if you're familiar with bike racing and things like that. So typically not been too good at these in the past. It's something I've always struggled with, so fingers crossed today it goes a little bit better though. I'm going to input a nice little lap here now anyway of the Super Bowl lap, so hopefully, because I'm recording this ahead of time, hopefully it's a pole position lap time. Probably not, but we can hope. So jump on board now and check out the one-shot Super Bowl lap here. So we start the Super Bowl one lap qualifying. So not my favourite style of qualifying at all. I generally don't do too well at these. I like to build into my qualifying sessions and build up the pace, but yeah, obviously that's not the case with this championship. So not the best lap I've ever done. You're going to see a big mistake here. We just missed the apex by about a metre there, so obviously not great. Just losing speed all the way down here, and again we make another little mistake here, turning in a little bit too late for me, a little bit too much steering input, scrubbing off speed, but again the only positive thing from this lap really was it was better than most of the other drivers' laps. So this lap ended up putting us second on the grid, which was obviously front row, which was I was more than happy with that. I'm not the best at qualifying, so if I'm somewhere near the front, that's always a bonus. Another little mistake coming up here at turn 10, but a little bit too much oversteer there, just scrubbing a bit too much speed, a little bit of a bog there coming out the final corner, but good enough for P2 on the grid. Right then guys, so that is qualifying done. So bit of a mess up from race direction there. So in the briefing room they said they would display a last lap flag, and then the next lap round it would go green, which means that's the start of your single lap qualifying. So when I come around it said last lap, so I then rolled off on that lap to get a bit of space on the track.
and then I came around and the checker flag come out. But obviously they rectified it halfway around that lap. They said next lap qualifying. So obviously then that was the next fine, that was the qualifying. But annoyingly, I let the heat of the moment get to me, and I made quite a few mistakes on that lap. Even saying that, I still managed to get second on the grid overall. So that was, for how scrappy the lap was, I'm actually quite happy with that, because I think I've got a lot better pace than that qualifying lap for sure. Probably at least another half a second, maybe a little bit more. So it's all good. P2 on the grid for race 1. So looking forward to this. So next up will be the race. I'm going to put that in now. So let's see how we get on.
So this is the start of heat number 1, and we're about to make the first mistake of the weekend. So we're approaching the line here, and unfortunately I just see green.
Ash seemed to overtake me before the line at the start, and I wasn't happy with that, so...
What do you think? Did I cheat?
Next mistake was being here, just left the door wide open. But to be fair, there was absolutely no beating this kart and this driver today. And you know, you're going to see a really good example of it here of when we talk about kart parity. So one kart length just there, and then within the space of probably, you know, I don't know, 100 meters, 200 meters at an absolute push, we can see that gap has increased to about 3 or 4 karts. Now, I am about 102 kilos in all my kits, and most of these guys are 90 on the dot or weighing up to 90, that sort of thing. So of course there's a 10 kilo advantage there, but if I do remember correctly, the kart that Dom had in his first race was actually pulled out of the lineup after this, so that's my excuse for this race anyway. But what you're going to see in the top right hand corner is a series of clips that I add throughout this video that are highlighting different angles of some instances which resulted in multiple penalties with another driver who basically just couldn't get past and was getting a little bit frustrated. So I'm going to keep jumping in and out of this video, otherwise I won't be talking forever. But that was the first of a few incidents in this race. So next up is the next incident. I would say incident, the next overtake, which apparently was deemed a penalty. So you see the other kart now going up the inside. We've got the extra view in the top right, and then you can see I've literally just basically held the position there. But apparently that was an advantage by contact warning as well. So I thought I'd just highlight that one in there as well. But we're now going to fast forward it to the next one, and we'll let you guys see what you think. Right, the next incident is coming up. So, down the back straight. Now, I'm going to pause the frame any second now. So, you'll see the front bumper of the kart there on my right-hand side, on the outside of the circuit. And it was deemed that I pushed him onto the grass on purpose, and as a result, got a 5-second penalty. Now, anyone with half a brain will know that if you're approaching a left-hand corner, you're looking left through the corner. I couldn't actually see the kart there. I only knew he was there after I'd obviously felt the contact. So I think things like that, there needs to be a little bit more, you know, that I provided all the footage to the to EKS, but obviously they were either too busy or they still deemed it to be a penalty. But it is what it is. We won't cry over spilt milk. Nothing will change. We'll still race exactly the same. And we're going to see another incident here. I've got a bump in the braking zone there, moved off of the line, and also held out now to the tyre wall, which you can see there in the freeze frame. But again, funnily enough, I feel like I actually come out the worst of all of these overtakes, but I actually got more penalties as a result, which makes no sense whatsoever. But yeah, like I said, you can't cry over spilt milk. This next lap is going to be an incident into turn number 6, which again, obviously this one wasn't penalised either, which was again quite funny, because this was a 5-second penalty all day long. If I'd done it, I would have got a black flag probably, but the front of the car coming in now, and then we just moved off the line, ran wide. Now, to be fair, look, I'm a hard racer. I don't care about a bit of rubbing and bumping and whatnot. Yeah, so for me, that incident there is fine. So he pushed me offline. I done exactly the same thing back at the following corner. Right now, what bothers me is that if I'm getting penalised for something, everyone should be getting penalised the same way. Do you know what I mean? And this is the problem when you overanalyze with regards to like penalty systems, because you're always going to leave yourself open to make people unhappy, because you're not going to be able to see every penalty, every collision and whatnot. So someone's always going to feel like they've been hard done by, or not penalised hard enough. Again, there on the final corner, pushed off for the circuit. Again, no penalty for the driver in front. And then here you're going to see a lovely clean overtake, nicely there. There you go, no contact there, and then you're going to see here getting pushed out wide onto the track runoff. But again, I choose not to retaliate here and just continue the battle. And I think this is a prime example again of inside lunge. I'm actually going to lose a position. So you can see there, I actually nearly crashed there, lost the position to Mike, and then yeah, basically it was just a case of recovering a position back, and obviously we couldn't catch the driver in front. But yeah, I mean, to summarise, obviously you can probably hear a little bit of frustration in my voice, because I think the whole penalty thing can be a little bit anal at times, to be totally honest. If two people are having a good hard battle, let them, pull them out into the pit lane, have a word with them as an adult, and just say, look lads, that was great to watch, but come on, you need to kind of rein it in a bit, because it was getting close to overstepping the line. I'm a hard racer. I come from a bike racing background, and all of this, we're racing in the go-kart. It's like, if there's a little bit of contact here and there, great, I love it, I'm here for it. Nothing dirty, but like I said, if you're going to paint someone with one brush, make sure you paint everyone with the same brush. You know what I mean? And I do think there is a major discrepancy with regards to who gets penalised, how they get penalised. Right, so we have fast forwarded to the final lap of the race, and obviously, like I said, not much happened after this. It was just a case of basically just finishing where we were, which was P3 on the road, and yeah, that is pretty much all there is to it. So we'll do a bit of a lap walkthrough while we're here. So we're now approaching turn 6. One of my favourite corners on the track, to be fair. It's very important to hit that apex nicely there and not run too wide on the exit. Now into 7, same thing. You can take the liberty a little bit with that outside curve if you want. I usually do, but on this particular lap I didn't. And then at this point I've had a little look behind my shoulder just there, and I see that I've got a big gap to 4th position behind me. So it's just like, right, well, I'm not going to gain any positions, so just finish the race, cross the line, get the race done, and get into the next heat, and hopefully have a clean race. But that may or may not be the case.
That is the first heat done, and we came over P3 finish. However, there may be a few penalties being dished out, so I'm not sure if I've got one yet. So it's probably not a P3 finish in the end, unfortunately, but pace was good. The car I had was pretty it definitely wasn't the best one, that's for sure. Felt like the rear tyres were a little bit flat, to be honest. There's a lot of bouncing, and weirdly, when it was oscillating at the rear, it was kind of killing the engine, so I was having to like back off the throttle to stop it from dying. It was a bit of a strange one, never really had that before, but lap times are pretty good. Lap times are still very competitive, even given that the kart wasn't up to par, but that's just rental karting, you know. I'm sure someone else will get it in the next one, unfortunately, and they'll have the same issue. But yeah, so overall, pace was okay. I was happy with the pace considering the issue with the kart. Like I said, P3 on the road. Probably, I'm going to assume I've got a couple of penalties, so I'm not sure exactly where I'll finish yet. But yeah, next heat is coming up. Fingers crossed it'll be a clean one, and hopefully we don't get any more penalties.
Heat number 2. So we are starting this one in third or fourth position, I think, based on the fastest lap time from the race before. So I had a good kart in this one because I see where it finished in the race before, and I was quite excited to get going in this one. And you can see I do get another very good start, and we secure a position going into turn number 1. And I've slowed it down here because there's another incident I'm going to get involved in right now. So you see the driver ahead. Look over to his left and start to block. And obviously I'm already kind of like alongside. I haven't really got anywhere to go. So he kind of squeezes me to the inside. Yes, whose fault was it? I'll hold my hands up, and I do here anyway. And I do wait for him, so I don't get penalised any further. So I just wait for him to come back through, let him regain the position, and then obviously proceed with catching the rest of the field back up. Obviously at this point I was kind of a little bit disappointed, but we fast forward here, and basically what I'm going to do is just show you all the action in this race. So we've now caught up with the guy that I just taken out at the start of the race, unfortunately, and we're now going to proceed to make the overtake. Now you're going to see here again, I do go up the inside here, and then he does continue, so I'm already alongside, does continue to turn anyway when I'm there. I just put my hand up there like, mate, like, if someone's alongside you and you turn into them, it's just, it's so common. You see this all the time, and it just basically kills both of your drive. And up onto the back of the next driver here, thankfully, he had a little look behind and see it was me, and he let me pass, so I just put my thumb up there. It made that one a lot easier. Fast forward a little bit more, and we are catching now onto the back of the next pack. And you can see there's a big gaggle of karts here. So it's going to take my time to get through these, but the pace was actually really, really strong. For most of the race, looking at the telemetry, I was the fastest. And basically, the fastest car on track basically until the last lap of the race, where Dave Rollins made a lap time about a tenth of a second faster. But we see the door got open for us there nicely, and then we take another. And we've got another good run up the inside of the kart there at turn 2, so a lovely solid overtake there to 2. It's quite hard to pass there. And again now we are catching the next group in front. So the guy in front of me here is actually the guy who was, I think, second in the championship. So we get a nice little overtake there. Very difficult to pull that one off because it was very hard to not go into the back of my mate Ben, funnily enough. And now we're back on the back of Ben now, and I believe, if I remember correctly, we got the inside at 7, so yeah, nice clean move here. And funnily enough, I do actually tap my helmet here and tell him to follow me, and then what you're going to see here is a little bit of an error on my behalf, undoing all the hard work that I've done, and I've spun, leaving me to do all the hard work again and try and regain as many positions as possible for the remainder of the race. Right, we jump forward again, and we have now recaught one of the drivers, and obviously we see here, we've got a fair bit more speed through this corner, and get a lovely run into 4, very clean overtake there, and we hold that position nicely. Trying to switch back a little bit, but it's just a case of holding the inside line, and there's going to be no way back for him there. And then we will fast forward a little bit more to the next pack, which I believe is being caught on the final lap of the race. Yep, lap 11, so that's the final lap of the race. There's a group of 4 here, which we're battling, which allows me to catch up really nicely as the lap goes on. I think, to be fair, in terms of pace, we was a good probably second plus quicker per lap anyway. But obviously catching 4 cars all at once, you're never really going to be able to, you only get one chance at it. There's no practice run or anything like that. It's get involved and see what happens, which is kind of what I've done. So I'm just kind of hovering around on the back, making a couple of little mistakes now, because I'm just like, right, I'm going to try and get past all of these, or at least the second car in view, which is, like I said, championship rival. But obviously you can see here we're coming down into turn 8 now, and we are getting stuck behind this the guy in the yellow helmet here. But we get a fairly decent run, but you can see the difference in the kart speeds there is quite significant, so we don't really get the opportunity to make the pass into 10. But luckily there's a bit of drama here, and I just kind of see a gap and kind of go for it. Which, as you can see here, I'm now going side by side into the final corner, and I'm on the outside, so I just wanted to keep the power on all the way around, and then we use the little bank there to get a nice little run over the line, which, considering the drama in that race, I'm actually quite happy with the outcome. Straight into the third and final heat. Again, we're starting P2 on this one. This is my mate Dave in the lead here, and I'll be completely honest, from the moment I put my foot on the throttle on that start line, I knew this was going to be a race of just trying to maintain the position. I knew I wasn't going to be able to beat Dave. I just didn't have the tools underneath me, and again, I kind of had a bit of a preconceived conception of this kart, because one of my friends had this car in the first race and he reported it was pretty sluggish, and yeah, I can confirm it definitely is. It handled well, brakes were solid, handling was great, engine just probably about, well, I think in this race I was about a second a lap slower than what I had done in previous karts. So yeah, this, as you can see here, is, Dave's already, he's gone. There's just nothing I can stay with him, no matter how, nailing the corners, nailing the lines, the apexes. Is just the speed difference between well, me and him, let's call it, rather than the karts. There was just nothing I could do to keep up. So yeah, I'm going to stay in for the first lap, and then I'm just going to probably speed it along, because the majority of this race is literally just me driving around defending, and then I think with 2 laps to go, I do get overtaken. So I'll probably just fast forward it up to there, and jump in at the end. Right, so here we can see we are about to lose second place here by Riley coming out the inside. Good move there, to be fair. I tried to hold it around the outside. Now we're in that awkward position where we're going 2 or 3 abreast into turn 8, which never ends well. And as you can see here, I lost 2 positions here, and then, pace-wise, there's a group of karts behind me as well. We were all like within a couple of tenths of a second, so it was very, very close. But yeah, I just didn't have anything to fight with, really. And obviously we are now getting a little tap there from someone from behind. And yeah, we are just about to start the final lap, and obviously I'm kind of hoping that these two engage, so it keeps me kind of in the fight. As you can see here, like the difference in the way they pulled away there is quite significant, and obviously coming back through 2, you can see all that time we've made up there through the corners, which is the only bit that we have control over, right, when the power of the car isn't on our side. And again here, acceleration zone, just losing a lot of time, but but there's still a little bit of hope. I'm hoping these guys take a couple of chunks out each other, which might open the door for me, and I don't need asking twice. If that door's half ajar, I'm definitely going to come ramming through it. But unfortunately that door never quite opened, and as you can see here, it's kind of just a yo-yo effect that in the brakes through the corner there was obviously a significant bit of catching, but obviously the distance down the straight is just a little bit too much to make up for. But yeah, overall, like I said, it was not the best round, especially now knowing the outcome of this round, which I'm going to chuck in a little video after this race is finished, giving you guys a little rundown of the exact situation after.
Right, guys, so if you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you know what I mean? It's my first time messing around with the editing software and whatnot, so I'm very much getting used to the editing and little tricks and visuals and whatnot, so they're only going to get better from here. So hopefully you've enjoyed it and not been too put off of me chatting shite in the background. But yeah, to summarize about the EKS round at MK, so obviously I had 2 really good strong races going into this EKS round at Milton Keynes on the Thursday before. Won the Sodi Thursday Night League and the D-Max Thursday Night League back to back. So obviously full of confidence, and obviously at Milton Keynes is probably the track that I've got the most experience at. So I was very confident I was going to get a good result, or have a good result, or potentially get a good result. And yeah, the pace was definitely there for a podium for sure. But obviously we got a couple of penalties along the way, which kind of screwed that up for me a little bit. So the end result being, with EKS, they have a penalty point system. So over the last 6 months, every race that you've done, you accumulate points on your license essentially. So it could be for like a contact warning, whatever it may be, right? Jump starts, track limits, all that sort of stuff. And I was 1 point away from a ban on the going into Milton Keynes. However, the round before I didn't get any penalty points, and I won the event overall. So I was confident. I was like, you know, there's not going to be any, hopefully won't be any penalties. But then obviously, you know, you see race 1 transpire. We got a little bit hot-headed, and we ended up getting a few penalty points, which basically puts me now on a 1 race ban with EKS, which basically means I'm going to miss the next round, which is at Silverstone, which is this coming weekend, funnily enough. So I may be racing the same weekend, but to be confirmed. I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, we're going to miss this next round, which obviously does damage the championship quite a bit, considering we was leading it. But you know, it will close things up and it'll make it a little bit more interesting towards the end of the year. So yeah, that's it really. That's a summary of the round. Some good racing. I enjoyed it anyway. A little bit frustrating at times, very annoyed about the penalty, but it is what it is. I've had a few days to sit on it now, and we're over it now, and we're already focusing on the next one, and we're focusing on the bigger events of the year, which is going to be CCK, which I managed to win last year in Italy, so we're going back to try and defend that crown. And we're also going to South Garda to do the South Garda Super Cup, where we're doing the plus 100 category, and the goal is, that's the ultimate goal of the year, is to win that one. Probably, you know, it's gonna be extremely hard, and there's gonna be a lot of luck involved if that does happen, but that's the event of the year. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to keep these vlogs coming. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment below, let me know what you think of these vlogs. Like I said, first time doing it. It's a little bit weird talking to myself on camera, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm watching all the top guys, Cameron Dass, Brad Philpott, writing down little notes and hints and tips and whatnot. So hopefully we'll level these videos up soon, but at the minute they're just a little bit of fun on the background. So yeah, all good. I'll catch you guys at the next one.